What the city is talking about. This is Montreal Now on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
That is James Mennie. He is over at the Montreal Gazette. Jim, we're going to talk about the new poll and Francois Legault, and I thought perhaps this song might apply, and then I thought, you know what, this is really old. No one's going to remember this, but here you go. Yeah. Silence is golden. It seems to be working for Francois Legault, huh? So new poll, first time in a while that you see the PQ actually start to tail off a bit.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we have to be careful there because with both the PQ and the CAC, they shed some plumage, as we say. The PQ dropped 3 points to 29%. The CAC actually sort of like dropped 1 point to 24%. But the analysts over at Léger are pointing out that, first of all, we haven't heard from either one, either Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon or indeed Francois Legault, and that works to their advantage, especially the advantage of Francois Legault, who every time he seems to open his mouth these days is costing him 1 or 2 points in the polls. But you have to be careful. It's not if you say something, it's what you say. I've mentioned to you repeatedly that Eric James, head of the Quebec Conservative Party, has been very busy. This guy is a digger. He's out there. He's always looking for every opportunity to further the interests of his party. He's been on the show way more than any of these party leaders. And guess what? He took a 3-point jump. And I know there are some folks who say, well, no, that's Pierre Poilievre's coattails lifting him up. I would respectfully disagree. I don't think Pierre Poilievre is known from your average hole in the ground in Quebec. I think Eric James is touching a particular chord with a certain section of Quebecers who really think they've been getting screwed over ever since the pandemic. And listen, he'll jump at every chance that he gets. But the fact is, it is kind of, I think it says infinitely more about the electorate than it does the leaders, which is, and I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, is we're at the point now, Aaron, where whoever has the shiniest new thing wins, at least for that particular, polling period. If you're out of the mix, if you're out of the debate, well, you don't do that well. I mean, the Liberals always keep their mouths shut, and they've been oscillating between 15 and 18%, my God, for like the past 6-7 months. We'll see if that changes, if Pablo Rodriguez becomes leader of the party. A lot of people are putting a lot of store on his advent into provincial politics. I'd say be careful with that. I think there's a lot of unknowns with Mr. Rodriguez that may not, how can I put it, wash well with so-called traditional liberal supporters, but maybe we'll see how it goes. But yeah, what the crazy lesson that we seem to be learning here is, unless you've got something controversial / positive to say, the best thing to do is keep your mouth shut. You may not, gain in the polls, but you'll limit any damage that you have to foresee for that month.
So what do you think? Do you think that Eric Duhem should look at this and go, hey, look at this. As you just said, he's on a lot here, and it seems to be, it's one poll, Jim, I get that, but do you think there's anything to it?
Yeah, I don't think Eric James is the kind of guy who's going to give up, and I think he knows how the game is played. I'm very sorry, and it is a game. All he needs is a defector. All he needs is the right issue to push. And let's face it, he has nothing to gain, as far as I'm concerned, nothing to gain from English Quebec support. But he comes on the show and he expresses his disdain for CAC policies that target Anglo-Quebecers. He doesn't have to do that. I mean, time is the most valuable commodity, but he still spends the time doing that because perhaps he's thinking down the road to a bigger picture. People will remember that this is the guy who spoke up when nobody else did. But on the other hand, as I say, if you don't speak up, at least in the short term, your poll numbers will stay normal. Obviously, once the session resumes, once Francois Legault finds a new or revisits a particular section of the population to attack and perceive as a threat to Quebec's identity, those numbers will change again. Not really sure, however, if Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon is going to follow suit this time. We used to say it was a competition as to who could beat up the Anglos or minorities more. I think the PQ is figuring out that with 4 seats in the House and an election, okay, it's a ways away, but let's face it, support for sovereignty simply is not there. it's done, it's over. Laffy's not sleeping, she's dead. He's going to have to find some new way to reinvent himself. And I think, I don't think Paul Saint-Pierre-Plamondon is a dumb guy. I think he's turning into a very canny politician, and I think he understands that he would not be the first PEC leader who at one point promised a referendum and then found all kinds of reasons why we couldn't have one right away. And most Quebec voters, and indeed Francophone voters, will nod sagely, very sympathetically, and say, oh, yes, we understand. But in the meantime, we'd like you to lead the government because François Legault is getting on everyone's nerves. I mean, frankly, Aaron, if you listen to our show, you think he's going after everybody. François Legault they're going to name a prize after that guy when it comes to alienating the most number of people you can in the shortest amount of time. He's really, really, really good at that. So, I mean, we'll keep our eye on the polls, of course. Keep your eye on RFJ, of course. But as I say, we have this, oh my God, it's like light years now. It's like we've got 2 years till the next general election. I know it seems like they've been here forever. Yeah. But the fact is, we've got another 2 years of this stuff to put on with. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe the Liberals will actually choose a leader between now and then. Who knows? But, and we may see a change in the political landscape. But right now, it seems, as your song says, silence is golden unless you've got something good to say. We'll see. We'll see what the numbers like next month.
Well, let me ask then, since we can get off the topic now, but you brought up the Liberals, and there's a story today that Pablo Rodriguez has now, apparently people close to him say this little dance about, well, I don't know, I'm not sure. He's apparently all in and will consider running, will run for the leadership of the party. What do you think?
Well, that suggests that people actually are paying. He's got a good team, and people are actually paying attention to what's going on. Because for a while there, it looked as if the narrative was almost being formed. Well, is he waiting for the by-election in LaSalle, Marne, Verdun to see which way the wind is blowing before he decides to make the jump? I think he's a pretty canny guy. I think he knows which way the wind is blowing. I think he knows it's better to leave sooner rather than later. And if indeed he can sell himself to the all-important regions, if he can come across as someone who the regions will believe, and not just in negatively attacking the CAQ or the PQ, but also in terms of selling himself, he's got a real shot. But that's going to be a huge job to do, Aaron. I'm not sure he'll be able to do it with the Quebec that exists now, and the Quebec that is so used to hearing absolutely nothing whatsoever from the Quebec Liberal Party on anything.
All right. Well, look, you saw the Léger poll as well that has him only 3 points behind Denis Coderre, and this is before he's even officially in the race.
But that's the margin of error.
Yeah.
So. That's for Liberal, Aaron. That's for Liberal supporters, and Liberal supporters right now account for 16% of the electorate.
Fair enough.
If we listen to Léger.
Fair enough. Let me move on and talk about a story. We didn't talk about this a lot. I know it's been on our news. So Quebec, get ready. You're not going to be paying more for your hydro today or tomorrow, but down the road, what Pierre Fitzgibbon say today? That rates could double?
The rate? No, he said no. That's an exaggeration. But there are think tanks that are looking at how hydro charges, how power is sold, not just in Quebec, but in other markets that are used by hydro. And they're suggesting that if you're paying $200 a month, well, in 5 to 10 years, you could be paying $400 a month. Mm-hmm. Now, you factor into that inflation. What struck me, though, above and beyond everything else, because one, there were two things. One, hydro's mandate. Hydro was created to allow Quebecers access to cheap electric power. That may be getting off the bus sooner rather than later. But what I love is, this is all, I don't worry about it. It won't be too big, but it's going to happen in 10 years. Oh, you mean the same 10-year horizon where we're getting rid of internal combustion engines?
Exactly,
and everyone's supposed to have an EV? Are you, serious? Are you kidding me? Because this, to me, stinks to high heaven. And if you think you're going to be able to sell the whole idea of, no, we have to electrify, but meanwhile, you're going to double my bill, maybe? I don't think so. And I don't care what party you're with. You better have a pretty heavy pair of industrial, hazmat suits to wear when you try and sell that to the public, because ain't nobody going to buy it. It's going to be very, very interesting. But it's coming down the pike, and it's going to be coming after the next election. So, we'll see which way it goes. But I have a sneaking suspicion Quebecers will put up with a lot, but they will not put up with getting gouged for hydroelectric power.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I think, too, it's going to be interesting to see how the Premier reacts, of course, to this call by Eric Duhem and others that this whole 2035 deadline for cars is just completely out of whack, and it's time to sort of pull that away. It's not going to happen.
Let me speak very sort of demi, hypothetically here. If it happens that Justin Trudeau and his government are no longer factors in the Canadian political landscape and the fallout on various provincial political landscapes, you can completely forget about any EV deadline set by anybody whatsoever for the foreseeable future.
Okay, so because this is a federal initiative?
It won't be a hobby horse anymore. Who's talking about electric? How many shows have you done, Aaron, saying, how do I get around that rush for electric vehicles?
Okay,
it ain't happening. Okay, this is a narrative that's being created by people like Justin Trudeau and people who make electric vehicles. But the fact is, Quebecers, every single study that's done, whether it's 6 months or 12 months, Quebecers love their internal combustion engines.
Yeah.
The bigger, the better. So spare me the EVs by 2030, 2035. It ain't happening.
James Mennie at the Montreal Gazette. Thank you, Jim.
Matt.